Hello, and welcome to another Q&A at the San Francisco Independent Shorts Film Festival 2025. This is the opening night program, and we got the filmmakers here with us. Hey, filmmakers.
Hi.
Hello.
And
Yo,
opening night program. Congratulations, everybody.
thank you.
Good to have you here. And just real quick, so we know who we are, what film you're associated with, can you state your name, your role, and the film you're with, and also maybe where you're calling in from, because sometimes we get different locations, if you would. Patrick, I'll start with you. You're on the top of my screen.
Patrick Gillis. The film is Everything's Fine. Calling from Marin County, California.
Right on. Good to have you here.
Thanks for having
Esteban,
me.
how about you?
Hey, I'm Esteban Padilla. I directed Sinking, and I'm calling in from Bend, Oregon right now, but based in San Francisco.
Oh, cool. Thanks for coming in. Hey, Jay, you're next.
I'm Jay. I'm the writer and director of Unbreaking, and I live in San Francisco.
Fantastic. Right in our backyard. Good to have you here. And next I have Kimberly.
I'm Kim. I produced, directed, and edited Forgotten Flavors, and I'm calling from Santa Cruz.
Santa Cruz. All
Mhm.
right. And last but not least, Vanessa. Hi.
Hi everyone, I'm Vanessa Belitic. I'm the writer and director of Evil Eye. Usually I'm in LA, but today I'm in Telluride, Colorado.
Cool. Nice background there.
Thank you.
Since I'm on you, Vanessa, what
Yeah.
started the film? Why did it come about? What inspired you?
Yeah, I'm originally from Port-au-Prince, Haiti. I grew up on the island and very early on was inspired by some of the magic of the island. I'll just say that. When you grow up in Haiti, you hear the drumming in the mountains, and my mother, who's a deeply religious lady, said, "Hey, that drumming that you hear, that's not for you." That intrigued me. It said, "Okay,
Ah,
there's adults who are afraid of drumming in the mountains. What's that about?" So, in terms of inspiration, I've just been into the idea of young people with special powers or special abilities, psychic powers. And Evil Eye came about with that as an inspiration. My experiences thinking maybe I was psychic as a kid.
ah. I think we were considering putting you into our Halloween special horror genre night, but for some reason it was full. But welcome. Good to have you.
Thank you.
And then Patrick, the inspiration, the start, the seed of your project?
Our project is the first 10, 15 pages of a feature, sort of a demo tape. I see all the basses and guitars behind Kim, so she probably knows demo tapes, and
Uh-huh.
that's the, you know, we just, we had an idea for a film. This is friends and family and self-financed independent filmmaking. So we thought, let's make a short and try to put an end on it. A first act typically has an end, but we couldn't, get all the way there. So we shot as much as we thought we could with a decent, maybe cliffhanger ending or what happens next ending. And so it's a complete short. We
Yeah,
feel like it's watchable with a
yeah,
first,
indeed. It wouldn't be playing here if it wasn't.
yeah. But it's hopefully it's an aspiring feature. How's that?
Excellent, fantastic. Can't wait to see the feature. And you get your last shot, isn't it? Like it's a establishment on Union Street. I know it because I live in San Francisco, Brixton or something, a restaurant.
Yeah, stealing locations, guerrilla filmmaking, no permissions. A lot of locations were free. We did have a SAG actor, so that's really what,
Yeah.
a lot of the funds go to, and we were grateful for that. We had Jake Short. He was a Disney kid, so some people might recognize him.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I like it. I like your style. I like your approach to indie filmmaking. Jay, how about you? What's the inspiration or start of your project?
I at its heart, Unbreaking is the story of a mother's love for their child, for her child, and that really is the through line. The character of Ollie, who's the main young person here, was modeled a little bit on my best friend's kid who's on the autism spectrum. It's obviously a different story and different dynamics, but so this was my SF State thesis film.
Ah,
And so, and spent a meaty 2 years in post production. But you know, I, I- for me, we've been constructing this story world. There's this is kind of the origin story for this character for a feature that we're hoping to be in production by the end of 2026. And so we've got these short films that kind of bookend this range of stories that we've been creating. And so Ali is this really quirky, artistic character, and we wanted to give Ali an opportunity to kind of shine through and tell this really intimate story. You know, it really is almost like a slice of life film.
Yeah.
There isn't like a ton of action, but I think the journey to personal healing is super relatable.
Yes, it was very touching, very moving. You nailed it. Esteban, how did your project begin? How did your film come to be?
Yeah, so I'm formerly a doc producer and director and like commercials as well. And I got into a residency at SF Film for a couple years and then subsequently got the Rainin grant for a feature I'm directing. But I felt like I didn't have enough clout in the narrative world to really justify selling a feature. And so I decided to create a prologue proof of concept like Patrick and Jay did. And a lot of it was based on like personal experiences, some more positive in doing psychedelic therapy. And a lot of it, like the impetus from it is just like the vulnerability of being a client in this situation and just kind of like being so hyper aware of how wrong this could all go should you be with the wrong practitioner. And in this case, in my film, it is definitely the wrong practitioner and things do go awry.
Forgive me for not remembering. Are you acting in the movie? You look similar to the.
I've gotten that a lot. No.
Okay.
Yeah, he's like a Afghan version of me.
I see. So based on, inspired from real life experiences, did you say?
Yeah. So I'm a big proponent of psychedelic therapy, and I will vouch for the efficacy, but also it's not for everyone, and it could definitely go wrong.
Right, as demonstrated in the movie. Well, also just because it seems really well captured in the sense, like, you know, the visuals. I remember how stunning your visuals were, and like a person that knows.
Yeah, I got some experience.
Yeah. Fantastic visuals, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's are, but I remember yours for certain. Kim, last but not least, tell us how your film came to be.
Well, I was working in the corporate world for many decades, and I had a bit of an epiphany the last couple of years there that I needed to use my skills to make meaningful content that's going to shift consciousness. So I've been really making a concerted effort to do that. And I was like, what is the thing that everybody can relate to? And food. I was like, how can I start with food? Because I can reach everybody through that. And then I started thinking about how all of us were indigenous people. At one point, we were all living off of the land. And so it's in our DNA. So like, let's tap into that. And I myself had discovered foraging, and I'd been working with some of the recipes in Pascal's books, and I had had all these like awakenings through that. And I thought, Pascal would be the perfect person to start, my journey with. And then Pete and Rob came into my life, and we went down and shot this film with him, and it was like it all just came together beautifully. He's an amazing person, and it's all the beginning of a whole series that I'm hoping to produce.
It's almost something we could have considered for our green film festival as well. What are Pascal's books? Do you happen to know one or two of the titles?
Yeah, Wildcrafting Cuisine, Wildcrafting Brewing. He's got a whole series of wildcrafting books. Yeah. So his fermentation is a really big thing. That's been really fun to just like make mugwort beers and like get back to this like primal thing.
There's a lot of lessons from your film and from him and stuff that I think should be visited for the current state of our environmental behavior, if you will.
Yeah.
And that's what I got from it. So since I'm on you still, Kim, and I'll ask this of all you, why a short film? Since for the San Francisco Short Film Festival, why didn't you go, well, actually, I was inspired because Patrick, it's the first act of his feature film. Why not a long form film? Why not a feature film, Kim?
Well, eventually it could evolve into a feature film, but we had limited resources. You know,
Right.
we had a day and a half to shoot this thing.
Well, I
And
ask because a lot of times this is a format like this medium, and people like they set out just to make a short film, or in another case they have, it's a thesis film or they're out of budget, whatever. But a lot of times people just like that's what it wants to be. It has to be a short film.
yeah, and again, because I'm hoping to do a series, it's okay because
Uh,
all the series, everything I'll profile might be short. You know, it
yeah,
could be part of a big, but eventually it will evolve into something bigger, I'm
yeah,
hoping. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, a lot of filmmakers also set out thinking it has to be, something that's more marketable, commercial,
Yeah.
like a feature length or a TV length, if you will. So short film is just something they don't do. Esteban, why a short film? You kind of answered that, kind of a proof of concept or proof to your, colleagues that you can do it.
Yeah, more or less. Yeah, and like I said, I guess it's more of a prologue than like a lifted scene from a film I am developing. And I felt like it was a pretty contained story, like within a trip, within a journey, something that could be distilled down easily and filmed, over the course of a weekend, even though we had to do pickups and it was really chaotic. But, I got it done. And I think I do have some regrets and kind of wish it was shorter and even more of a short film, but I just really wanted to shoot for the moon with it.
Yeah. Well, how would you be able to make it shorter? Like
Exactly.
through editing, or at the script stage, or like
Yeah.
that's something to know because one of the critiques or criticisms for us as programmers is like most shorts are too long.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was just like, I don't know, I felt like I had to stick to my guns and maybe like it'll work better as I develop a feature because it shows I could like maintain a longer story as opposed to something shorter. So I think it's a good use case for that.
Yes, excellent.
Yeah.
Jay, it's your San Francisco State thesis film, right?
For me, I think the short film as a specific like art form, having constraints, I think is really important. And I think it lowers the barrier of entry for independent filmmakers in terms of creating something. And, I don't necessarily think that having a feature length film is necessarily better. It's just a different way of telling the story. And sometimes you can move an audience much more through short form. And, I really like the constraints. What is the essence of the message that you're trying to get across? And it forces you to make decisions both in pre and during production, so that you have enough to work with in post, but you're not dragging through. It's just a window into time.
Well
And
said.
so,
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally
I
agree.
love the short form.
Yeah.
Yeah, and how many times have you seen a feature film or something long form? You're like that could have been a short.
And it could have been 10 minutes and
Yeah.
better.
Or when you see the trailer and like we just saw the movie,
I walked out of the last Mission Impossible film because they gave everything away in the first 15 minutes.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, I know. Patrick, expand. Enjoy the short form. Maybe you should make a feature now. Maybe you should just make another short.
Well, to Jay's point, you can do a lot in a short. And I do want to say about Jay's film, it works. And I'll tell you why. It got me. So the moment, and you said there's no spoilers, right?
Right. People have seen the films.
The moment the lead kid says "mom," I literally got misty and choked up, and I'm like, "What am I doing here?" Like I was gonna cry alone in front of my computer, and I thought, "Okay, dude, that worked. So your film works." And then for Kim's, I was fascinated by it, and I was almost paralyzed by my fear of the apocalypse. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, this guy is the dude I want to know." And I realized after that movie, I was hungry like Pavlovian. So these films are so powerful, they work. I am now in the middle of Esteban's movie, and he's just laid down. He's peeking through the mask, and I got to go on the Zoom call with you guys. And I'm like, oh man, I want to get back to his movie so badly because they're working. All these, and I can't wait to see Evil. I mean, if we see it on the night or if she's, can share it. But
Well, we want you to come that night, so hopefully you can do both.
absolutely.
Okay.
Profoundly powerful, though. And to Jay's point, sometimes you don't need to belabor something. And you even said it, Jason, at the beginning of your thing. There's a short attention span, and I think I'm guilty of it too. But I also want a richness. Uh, Between 5 and 15 minutes, if you can't tell someone a whole life story, then maybe you're just making stuff up.
Yeah.
There is a place for features. Maybe just it's sort of ingrained in sort of my generation that you want to sit down for 88 minutes, 90 minutes and get the longer 3-act play. As far as Mission Impossible, like Jay said, he probably just missed a few explosions, but he got the whole thing in the beginning.
Exactly it.
But yeah, it's just another one thing I'm not super wild about are these like, 1 day, 1 minute film festivals where you're forced to, do deadline behavior. And there's a place for that too. It's sort of a MacGyvering thing, but I do think there's a discipline, a planning, a technical, that's not that that's a parlor trick and not to get sidetracked, but I could see the care that everyone took in their films.
Yeah.
The worst thing you could hear at the end of your film is for someone to say, "Oh, it's beautiful." That means that it didn't get them. It means you had a great DP or something.
And I
But
do
these
think,
films got me emotionally.
yeah, someone said it, the short is an art form. And then everything you just said, Patrick, for sure. And that's why we believe in shorts. That's why I'm part of this short film festival. That's why I've made shorts. And I now crave to go back and make another short, even though the last film I made was a feature. It's like I'm longing to make a short film because of everything you guys have said so far. Vanessa, add to this topic.
Yeah, I mean,
please.
listen, what I don't recommend is two shorts back to back, one year after another. That at that point, you probably should make a feature. So
Yeah. It depends
don't
on your resources.
don't
Yeah.
be like me. I kind of actually did make two shorts back to back. This
Well,
film,
don't do it as a distraction or procrastination, if that's what I'm saying. Because, you know what I mean? If
well,
you
I mean,
take a
it's
feature,
just a
get to
lot
it.
of work. It's just a lot of work in terms of the prep, and then by the time you raise money, there is a part of you that says, could I have made a feature? But Evil Eye was made as in part of the AFI, American Film Institute's DWW, their Directors Workshop for Women. And so it's their longest running social justice program. They knew in 1974 that women directors would need a leg up. So they started the program every year, about 600 different mid-career up and coming directors apply. 7 of us get in. It's a year-long program that's like a combination of mentorship and education, but you have to come in knowing, having written a short film script that they accept, and then you produce it, you make it happen inside of the program. So why short film? Because I made it inside of the program, but also because some stories really just need to be a short film. If it asks a question and you have an answer, we don't need to belabor the point. And that's what Evil Eye is.
Right on.
Yeah.
I would like to say that my DP, Marilyn, came out of that AFI program.
Yeah, so they have the cinematography program, the production program, and the directing program. It's awesome.
Fantastic. So what would you say, since I'm on you, is your proudest moment of your, Vanessa, I'll ask this of all you too. Proudest or most memorable moment or proudest moment, biggest accomplishment with completing this film, Evil Eye?
So I'm sorry I haven't shared it with you all yet. I'm going to send you a link after this. And then if you're going to be in person to see it on the big screen, we love a good DCP with a good 5.1 mix. But I think it's a pretty ambitious film. We shot it over the course of 5 days. It's not a small cast. There's a lot of extras. There's a girl-on-girl high school fight scene. There's a stunt. There's a lot of VFX.
All the things you say not to do in your first short film or an early, right?
Lucky for me, this is my second short. I came up as a commercial director and have done music videos, and so I do have experience in filmmaking and VFX and that sort of thing. But so, I mean, proudest when
It sounds
when
like
you
you're just gonna say finishing it.
when you see the opening 60 seconds and you see that big VFX moment, that was not easy to do. It goes by like this, but it was not easy to do, and I'm pretty proud of that.
Right
It
on.
took a lot of work to pull that off.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I think, hearing you say finishing just was kind of going to be my answer. But honestly, my proudest moment, I think, was just the crew, the restraint, like the scene that follows where we end the movie. I thought was like a really great scene, and to just say, we may be sacrificing, the quality or the time we could spend on the previous scene. So you have to make these critical decisions when there's more material to make. And even if you have a fixed script, you just have to say cut. That's like the Sidney Lumet says, the most important word on set is cut. Just say cut, move to the next scene, and then you'll go. And you've got to get the crew ready to be able to move. So not just finishing, but just the restraint of not biting off more than we could chew. Just saying, we're not trying to change the world here. Let's just do a proof of concept, give the actors, adequate time. There's nothing worse than them saying, "Can I do it again?" while a guy's striking a C-stand. It's like, uh-oh,
Mhm.
you know.
Yeah,
So yeah, just doing it was fun.
I know. It takes great discipline to be a filmmaker or an editor or director. Some of the most painful moments too. What's that expression too? Like when you have to cut your darlings, killing your darlings.
Yeah, that's a big part of it.
Jay,
Murder
biggest
on the
moment,
cutting room
most
floor.
memorable moment.
Yeah, so we shot non-consecutive over 10 days. There was like 6 shoot days, but the primary action takes place in this garage that was on Church Street in the Castro. And so we had to contend with the J Church going right in front of the garage. So sound was
The
and it
sound
was
guy loved
cold.
you.
It was cold and rainy and everybody was cold. And the only bathroom that was available on that site, we were able to use a restaurant down the street. But the only bathroom on site was a toilet that was concealed by like a very bare partition. But I think I came back into it. So when the film was originally coming out, I had just lost a childhood friend, and so I wasn't really in a headspace to finish the film. And so what ended up happening is I came back into it this summer, and Dave Nelson and the amazing team at Outpost Studios helped me, reimagine the film and the soundscape. And so coming back into it just in the last couple of months has been like, I'm like, oh, the film is finally where I've wanted it to be for
Uh,
3 years. So
and sound was a big part of that, as it always is. But you created a great soundscape. Yeah,
yeah.
fantastic. Esteban.
Yeah, I mean, I think just like being able to adapt and improvise, like being able to utilize my doc background in kind of like moments of pretty intense duress. Like we worked in really hard locations, really hard load-ins, had to do a lot of water work, had to fight the elements, like we got caught in a storm. In addition to like having never worked personally with a lot of visual effects on like a shoestring budget, and I was like kind of managing every department head myself, like working as a producer as well. And luckily, I found someone specifically on YouTube whose like hobby was to make psychedelic simulators, and like that's all they did for like just viral content creation. It never worked on a film at all, and so like we taught each other a lot, and I learned a lot from him, and I think we were able to accomplish like really good fidelity in the VFX that I've never seen in like a bigger budget movie, to be honest. And
Yeah, yeah,
obviously, I'm proud of the performances and the directing, but like I'm really proud we were able to get that look on such a small budget.
yeah, yeah. Fantastic. Kimberly, same for you.
I would
Big
say my
takeaway
proudest
moment.
my proudest moment is actually just making the film. Like,
Yeah, sure.
I spent so much time researching and writing and trying to figure out the best story to tell and to make it, and it just the fact that it came together the way it did with such ease was huge. But also, I would say I'm pretty proud of the fact that we only shot a day and a half and made a 14-minute film. Like in the commercial world, I would get 2 or 3 days worth of footage for a 3-minute film sometimes. So and I think that was had a lot to do with the fact of that I really was prepared, because as an editor, I know what I wanted as a director, right? So I wrote a script. Even though it's a doc, I wrote a script. What do I want the flow to be? Where do I want my sound up moments to come through? What do I want those sound up moments to be? What do I want Pascal to prepare, from a recipe standpoint, and have some versatility around that. And then, you know, I had some gear, so we did like overhead shots with my gear. Like it was really fun to just like really be strategic in the planning of it so that we could maximize it to
Yeah.
the place that it got to be.
Feels good when you're prepared for those times where you meet a challenge. Well, hey, we got time for one more question. That's about all the time we have. One thing you want to add that I didn't ask you? Anything at all? Kim, the camera's on you. Anything you want to add before we say goodbye?
I'm just grateful to be here and with alongside all of you talented filmmakers. I'm really excited to be a part of this. This is my first festival.
All right.
And it's like I'm just very grateful. So thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, good to have you. Thank you. Estevan, last words.
Yeah, just gratitude, man. Thank you very much for helping out a broke filmmaker.
Well, hopefully it won't be for long. Thanks for making your film. Jay?
I just want to say thank you to my team. You know, we were majority women crew members, created such a wonderful vibe on set, and it was just such a joyful experience. So to be able to all work together to create something was just, it still touches me to this day.
Yeah, right on. Comes through in your film too. Patrick, anything you want to add?
Well, thank you to you and your team for supporting the independent filmmaker. It's rare that people even go to movie theaters anymore to see these blockbusters that cost $200 million. And I suspect that over the next, 8, 10 days of your film festival, you're going to get dozens, if not hundreds of people in theaters watching independent films that were bootstrapped and free this and free that and burritos and credits is all they got paid. So you're a huge piece of filmmaking. If there's no destination, people wouldn't do this.
Yeah.
But they do this so they can, get to your film festival. So thank you very much.
You're very welcome. And get to your film. So thank you for making them. There wouldn't be a film festival without you guys, right? So
Well, there's the
back at you.
relationship.
Back at you. Last words, Vanessa, last but not least. Go and
I mean,
Yeah, of course.
I don't know who all's going to be in the audience, but always thank you for watching. And if there are any aspiring filmmakers, we all know that it's a minor miracle to get anything made these days, and it takes a lot of sacrifice and a lot of favors from whole lot of humans. And so I don't know. I guess we're all in it together. So
Yeah, and so true. So back at you guys. Much gratitude on our end, both as a film festival and as an audience member for making your movies, for being filmmakers and seeing your projects through and making sweet short films. We loved your movies. That's all the time we have. Thanks everybody for watching. Filmmakers, thanks for joining us. Check out more great films at sfindie.com, and thank you for supporting independent cinema.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you.